There's two people working in a farm and they see a storm coming. One of them starts running away from the storm and the other one starts running into the storm. The one that starts running away from the storm keeps running and running and running and running, and every time he or she looks back, the storm is right there behind them. And this keeps on going on for the rest of their lives. The other person who ran into the storm, they go through the storm, they get bruised, they get injured. It's tough, it's difficult. But shortly after the storm passes, it's all sunny again. There's a rainbow, and he's absolutely fine. And then he goes about living his day and life. That storm, it's no surprise, is your fear. If you keep running from it, you will keep running from it from the rest of your life. Every time you look behind, it will be there. And that's how fears hold power over us. But if you have courage and face them and run into them, yeah, you might get bruised, you might get injured, you might hurt yourself. It's going to be uncomfortable, it's not going to be easy. But after that storm passes, you'll be liberated. You won't be at the mercy of the storm chasing you for your whole life, right? And that's how fears are as well. What do you think of that analogy, first of all, Anas?
Absolutely, such is life. In life, most things which are supposed to make you grow, which are supposed to make you a better person or a superior version of yourself, are in that storm. And if, like the bull, you keep running away from things, yeah, momentarily you'll avoid the storm, you'll avoid the pain, but remember, like, that storm is chasing you. So one way or the other, you're gonna get caught up in the storm. Might as well do it in your own terms. Like, you gave the analogy about the bull. Go head in, and yeah, you're gonna get injured, scratch, bruise a little, but the value that you're gonna get out of that storm, and in particular the elimination of fear, that's just going to be valuable for the rest of your life. Because once you're able to eliminate that fear, you're ready for the next step, you're ready for the next challenge, you're ready for a bigger storm.
Bigger storm, yeah. That's amazing. And I gave this analogy uh, uh, you, before mentioned bulls, but now we mentioned people just to make it more relatable. But it's the same thing, like be it a bull or a person. uh, if you keep running from it, it'll always be behind you. But once you face it, you might get injured. But when you come out on the other side, you'll be a better person, uh, and a fearless person. So let's just go over what fear is. It's just an unpleasant emotion caused by some sort of threat, I believe.
Yeah,
Fear isn't necessarily bad. There's two types of it: acute fear and chronic fear. Acute fear is that pops up momentarily in certain situations. That's actually good for you. It's trying to give you a message, an indication to do something, to move. Maybe let's say you're walking down on a quiet street late at night, and you hear some noises, and that fear peeks in. That's acute fear, and that's really good because it's trying to give you a message that you're not in the most safe space right now. uh, and it would then the fear would get you to act or get out of that space or be in a position where you're more comfortable and safe. Chronic fear is what lives here, and that's what enslaves us for the rest of our lives. Fear only exists in our minds. It's only the thought of fear that gives power to the fear. Remove the thoughts of those fears in your mind, and it doesn't exist. And that's exactly why two people react very differently to a situation. Uh, One might be in fear looking at that situation, while as other might see an opportunity or excitement in that same situation. Let's say, for example, skydiving, right? So like I mentioned, it's just something that lives within our mind. And why does it live within our mind? That has to do with your upbringing and how your subconscious mind developed at an early age. It's not in your control, right? So throughout your childhood, depending on how you were brought up and what your environment was, your subconscious mind develops and it holds certain fears uh, in the mind. But the problem isn't having a fear, it's how you respond to it. Once you have a fear and you have that thought, every time it repeats in your head, you live through that in your whole body.